Hey guys, and welcome back to another monthly budget setup video. I am here for the third month in a row because I really love, and I know that you guys are really liking me coming on camera and kind of showing myself as I am setting up my monthly budget. So for this month, of course, we're going to be setting up my March monthly budget, which I actually do have one category that you guys are probably going to be like, why do you even have that this month? But I'll talk about it a little bit more as I'm going through setting this spread up. But of course, I have here my softbound notebook. This one in particular is the Hello Kitty collab with EC. And this is where I keep all of my mock budget spreads. I like to keep them all together instead of having to go back and forth to my budget planner. That's the main reason, as well as one of the main reasons why I even have or make a mock budget prior to coming on here and filming a video is because I don't want to have to stress out and think about, okay, how much am I budgeting for these categories on the spot? And I like to be as prepared as I can when filming these types of videos, especially because I'm using stickers and I want everything to look good and not messy. So if you guys would have seen last month's budget with me, then you guys know that it was my birthday month, and my birthday just passed actually. It was this past weekend and I had so much fun, but now we're moving on to the next month, not thinking about February. The only thing that I do have to film still would be my February budget results video, which you guys should definitely stay tuned for that one because it has a lot of things and I go kind of in a step-by-step process as to how I close out my budget. And I feel like that's very informative for a lot of you guys, and you guys really seem to love that video in particular. But if you guys did not realize, I am using a plum paper monthly planner, which comes with, of course, your monthly view and quite a few note pages. In particular, I like to set up my monthly budget spread on the page right after the monthly view on the right side. So first and foremost, I'm just gonna go through and white out all this excess lines. And for this month, I think I'm gonna go all out with my Lucky Charms print. I really love this print, and I love the whole minty kind of vibe that my March budget kits have. So really excited. I know I've been obviously with the months and like the different holidays that they have, it's very easy to just stick to like pink for February or like green for March. But I do like to, switch it up here and there on some months. So I'm going to, I guess, put my header first before my budget script. But the first header that I have here is for your income. So I like to, of course, write out all of my income first. And then once I'm done writing out my sources of income, I will go ahead and move on to my expenses. Now, as you guys know, or maybe you guys don't know, you guys are new to my channel, I actually get a paycheck from my shop, Romina Rosa. So I do like to write that as my first source of income. So I will just write out, I hope you guys can see. So I'm going to write Romina Rosa right here. Under that, I'm going to go ahead and write a variable for all of my variable sources of income. And I will set that variable income spread in this planner as well sometime in the next couple of days. So make sure you stay tuned for that. But that's basically all of my side hustles like YouTube, Patreon. Sometimes when I end up selling like D-stash items, I'll go ahead and put it in there. But I like to just categorize that all into variable income instead of writing out every single one of them in here in my March budget spread. Also, if you guys are wondering, I am using the 7x9 monthly planner. So this is kind of a small book and I don't have a ton of space to be writing out all of my income sources and all of that. So I just like to keep it simple and put both of those there, since I already, like I mentioned, have another variable income spread. Now I do like to break up my income from my expenses, and in particular I like to use my budget kit that separates my expenses by variable and fixed. So I do have one that just has them all together, and this one separates them. So I've been using this one since I started using stickers, I want to say. So that's just kind of what's always worked for me. So I'm going to lay down my variable expenses here. And I might as well just lay down my fixed expenses. Okay, so I'm gonna go through and lay this one down. That looks good. Okay, so this is what I have for my stickers so far, and I'm going to go ahead and take a look at my expenses. Now for this month, I don't think I changed the numbers for my categories. I did add one more category, but aside from that, everything is pretty much the same. Oh no, actually I decreased my groceries cash envelope just because, as I've mentioned in the past couple of months, the past 2 months, I've been wanting to decrease my grocery spending. And so what I'm doing is that every month, or so I have been doing so far, is I've been decreasing it by $10. I believe in the beginning of the year, I budgeted $275 for groceries. And then for February, I brought it down to $270. And now I am bringing groceries down to $260. And I zoomed in just so you guys can see the categories and the budgeted amounts a little bit better, because I know I always get asked to zoom in a little bit more. And it's kind of different once again when I'm filming this way with myself and my planner here, but I'm hoping that this works out. So the first category that I have is groceries, and definitely stay tuned for my cash envelope stuffing video because I'm doing something a little bit different. I have a couple of like Costco shop cards that I received when I got my membership, and so I'm using some of those as part of my grocery spending. So definitely stay tuned for that video. But in total, like I mentioned, I'm going to be budgeting $260 for groceries. I would love to bring this down to $250, maybe $240 in the next couple of months, but we will go ahead and see. I feel like we've been pretty good about it though, because I don't know, I feel like I've been wanting to meal plan, but when I meal plan, I feel like I definitely look for like Pinterest recipes and things that require a little bit more ingredients. I feel like that's when I spend the most money, when I'm buying like just random ingredients that I'm only going to be using for one specific recipe, but then I don't use it for like the rest of the month. So I'm trying to be very conscious about the things that I'm purchasing and making sure that I can use them multiple times. So that's kind of how I'm dealing with the groceries right now. Next up is household. And for household, I've been doing $100, and that has been working fine. But we will go ahead and see at the end of this month. Then I have my eating out cash envelope, and typically I would budget $100. Last month I budgeted $150 because it was my birthday month. And this month I'm actually going to decrease it, but not back to $100. I'm actually just going to be doing $115. I'm thinking just because I started doing or separating money into like a tips cash envelope, and so I'm thinking that $15 for tips would be good to just say, okay, I'm gonna take 15 and put those in my tips cash envelope, and then the 100 would be just for regular eating out. That's what my thought process was with the $115 for eating out. I will let you guys know how that works out, but I think it sounds like a pretty good plan to me. So that's what I'm doing for eating out. Then for allowance, I always do $100 a month. So that is staying the same, as well as beauty. For the most part, $225 is a great amount for me. As you guys know, I use my beauty cash envelope for things like dyeing my hair, which I am back to red. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I had been doing copper, but decided to kind of go back to red because I don't know, I feel like red is a lot more me than copper was, but I did enjoy having copper. But as you guys know, I like to buy hair dye, developer, I like to get my nails done, and that's just something that I really love to do and I'm not going to stop doing, and that I do like to include in my budget. So if there's anything specific that you like to do and you want to make sure to include in your budget, I definitely suggest it. It's better to include the things that you like in here, so then that way it doesn't feel dreadful to create a budget, because nobody wants to keep up with a budget that's dreadful. So just throwing that out there. Now for gas, I budgeted $30 last month, and that was actually pretty good. Although gas prices have been going up, for this month, I'm not going to be budgeting $30. I'm actually going to be budgeting $50. And the main reason is because I plan on going on a trip to San Diego with some friends. And so I'm thinking that I can take $30 from that to pump for my car for the month, and then maybe the other $20, since I'm not going to be driving there, I can give whoever's driving for gas money. That's kind of my thought process with that. So I think 50 should be perfectly fine for that. So those 6 are my main cash envelopes that I like to keep in my wallet, or as you guys know from the last couple of weeks, my pocket planner. Then after that, it gets pretty repetitive. We have phone bill, which I always budget $110 for in here. Internet, we'll be getting $70. And then a new category that I'm going to be adding for this month is Easter. And the reason that I'm adding it so far in advance is because a lot of stores like Target and whatnot are already coming out with their Easter stuff. And I like to be prepared for the holiday a couple of weeks before the actual holiday. Because of course, if I'm going to be buying things for Easter, like the week of Easter, I'm most likely not going to find anything. So I am going to be adding a category for Easter here. And you guys are probably thinking like, why do you need a category for Easter? Like, you don't have kids, like you don't, like why? But typically me and my family, we love to give each other things like for Valentine's Day, Easter, or anything like that. So I thought that I can make maybe a basket for my sister and my little brother Andrew, and then that we could have kind of like a grown-up Easter egg hunt with like both candy as well as with cash inside of the Easter eggs, which is something that me and my sister remember doing when we were little. So it was really fun for us. And I thought that we can just do it for this upcoming holiday. So I am budgeting $60, and this should be enough to cover, I'm thinking like candy, Easter egg baskets, and definitely some cash to put in those Easter eggs. So that is that. Then a category that I forgot to add last month, but that I definitely didn't want to forget for this month, is my membership for Weight Watchers, which is the app that I've been using for like workouts, tracking my meals, my weight, and all of that since the beginning of the year, I want to say, yeah. So I am under this promotion, and I believe the promotion ends this month, and I have to pay around like $14 a month. So I'm just including that in the budget because I completely forgot to do it last month. I'm not sure why, but good thing I skipped a line. So the last one that I just have here is unbudgeted, and this is just a placeholder category for me. So I don't necessarily budget anything for this category, but I like to have it as a placeholder for whenever I do end up making an unbudgeted expense. So that's kind of that there. And then I'm just gonna skip a line just in case, but I don't think that I would need it. And that's going to be my totals for variable expenses. And now moving on to fixed expenses. So instead of creating a budgeted amount for my variable expenses, fixed expenses are categories that have a set amount. So things like rent, your car payment, mortgage, your student loan minimum payment, renter's insurance, car insurance, all of that will go in this section. And of course, the first one, the most important one, is rent. And for rent, as you guys know, I pay $800. Then for car payment, that is $348.06. Car insurance is $200, which thank you so much to whoever commented on was it last month's monthly budget video? But you guys mentioned that I should definitely check my car insurance once I turn over 25. And my birthday was just like 2 days ago, so obviously I wasn't able to do this prior to me setting up this budget, but I will definitely look into it because they were saying that their car insurance decreased once they turn 25. So I will definitely have to look into that. Thank you so much for that comment. I don't remember your name, but thank you so much. Then I have renter's insurance, which I just pay for that on a monthly basis, and that is $10.83. Then I have a category for subscriptions, which is just one for like smaller subscriptions like iCloud storage or for Spotify. So in total for this, I pay $6.99. Then of course my student loan, minimum payment, I pay $130.77 for this. Then I do like to always have a category for giving, whether that be at my church or if someone is in need. I do love to just be able to go into this cash envelope and give money to whoever needs it. So for this, I like to do $150 a month. Then for my sinking funds, which I will be setting up that in tomorrow's video, as well as stuffing my sinking funds cash envelopes. For this, I am doing $799. And then the last category that I like to have in here is one for my extra debt payment, which I'm currently trying to pay off my student loans. So typically I will leave this blank and I will only know how much I'm able to put as an extra debt payment towards the end of the month once I know how well my shop did for the month, since that is where I take the extra money for my extra debt payment. So those are all of my fixed expenses for this month. They're honestly exactly the same as they were last month. Fixed expenses don't ever typically change for me, with the exception of my extra debt payment, of course, but that is what I have for my fixed expenses. Quickly, I do want to go ahead and add all of these budgeted amounts for my variable expenses. So let's take a look. So let's see, we have 260 plus 100, 115, 100, 225, 50, and 110, 70, 60, 14. So the total budgeted amount for my variable expenses side is $1,104. And then if you guys would just like to see, just so you guys get an idea of how much my fixed expenses are, they equal to $2,445 with 59 cents. So my total budgeted amount for the month is $3,549 with 59 cents, which is around the amount for my monthly expenses, so nothing out of the ordinary here. Now the last thing that I'm just gonna go ahead and do is now separate my expenses from the totals, little section I like to have. So in the total section, I will go ahead and write out my income and then subtract all of my variable and fixed expenses. So I will just write down here, let's see, we'll put income, then variable for variable expenses, and fixed for fixed expenses. And that was actually a perfect spread. It always makes me happy when everything matches up. But okay, so in here I will go ahead and put my budgeted amount for variable, and for fixed I don't quite know yet because I am missing an expense, but typically whatever I budgeted for fixed, it typically equals to the actual, so that doesn't really matter for me at this point. But the only one that really changes would be my income and my variable expenses. So now that I'm done with that, I have left over my squared off pattern box. So I'm going to go ahead and just plop that right here. And this will be for any savings. That's currently what I'm working towards right now. So I'm just gonna put a little piggy bank right there and then take the rest of the deco and just spread it out. Let's do the cash envelope and then money here. And that is going to be it for my budget video. And here is an overview of my budget and how it ends up looking. That's pretty much all that I have for this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed coming along and setting this spread up with me. If you guys did, as always, please do not forget to give this video a huge thumbs up, as well as subscribe to my channel if you guys are not subscribed already. And make sure you stay tuned for the next couple of videos. And hopefully I will get to see you guys on the next ones. Bye guys.